Hi, everybody, and welcome. This is a new way to start the show for sure. As you can tell, this is Ronnie Reno live, and we hope we have a good show today. And thanks to everybody for joining us for sure. I can't tell you what a privilege and pleasure it is to have this gentleman here with me today. I know him and his family very, very well, and have for many, many years. And we've got quite a bunch of stuff to talk about today, but let me introduce him first and make welcome Mr. Billy Troy. Hey, Billy.
Hello. Hey, how you doing, Ronnie? It's so good to
I'm
see you.
doing I'm doing well, brother. It's been a while since we saw each other in person, but it's good to have you with us.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here. I've been looking forward to seeing you, so I'm glad I'm here.
Oh, well, same here, same here. I've got to start our live show today by talking about our families. And of course, you and I have got so much in common.
We
We're
do.
fortunate enough to be both of us second generation bluegrass. And of course,
Yeah.
Billy's father was the Uncle Josh Graves, the great
Yeah.
dobro player and great entertainer
Oh,
of
thank
all.
you. Yeah,
And
he was
I
great.
got to know your dad, my gosh, when I was just a very small boy. And
I know.
actually, I bet I met Uncle Josh probably when I'm going to say maybe 12 years old, believe it or not.
I believe it.
Oh, really? He was my favorite because he just had a way with kids. He loved kids anyway. And he'd
Yes,
go
he
on
did.
with you. And of course, I would stand around and watch him whip that dobro in and out.
It was like a ballet.
Oh, it was truly like a ballet. And of course, the things he was doing with Lester and Earl, and of course, we were in Richmond at the Old Dominion Barn Dance, and they would come through and play uh, the Old Dominion Barn Dance. And of course, we worked a lot of shows with Flat and Scruggs back in those days. And of course, you was such
Yeah, I know.
a now. You were born in Nashville? Is that correct?
Well, no, actually, I was born. Everybody thinks that because that's where I spent my whole life. But I was born in Wheeling. Dad was with Wilma Lee and Stoney at the WWVA Jamboree.
Right.
And so I was born there. And then shortly after I was born, he went with Flat and Scruggs and then moved to Nashville for the Grand Ole Opry, that whole thing.
I got you. Well, I was sitting here thinking. Of course, he was in Richmond there a while with Mac Wiseman. Didn't your dad work with Mac for a little bit?
Yeah, he sure did. He really did. And yeah, he had a great career with Mac. Actually, Mac used to like to tell everybody that he was the first to put a dobro in bluegrass music, but it wasn't Flat and Scruggs, it was him. That's what he said.
Exactly. Well, Mac did so many first. You never know what.
Yeah.
But anyway, and of course, at the Wheeling Jamboree, that was as hot as Nashville was at the time as the
Oh,
Grand Ole Opry.
that's what they say. And of course, I was just a baby, but when we moved, probably in 55 or 56, we moved to Nashville from there. And so my whole life was there, and I grew up on the stage of the Grand Ole Opry with my dad, and I was there every week. I mean, honestly, Ronnie, I thought, and a lot of people know this because they've seen pictures and things, but I thought I was part of the Flat and Scruggs. I thought I was a Foggy Mountain boy. They'd let me play at their, I'd stand there with my guitar. They'd let me play on their radio shows with them. And I was just, 4 and 5 years old. It was just, and it was really, you couldn't have told me I wasn't a part of it.
Oh well, sure. And of course, at that time, it wasn't really named bluegrass music. It was just
No.
old time string music. And of course, it's such a family type music that all kids were invited to whichever way.
Yes, it was. It was a great time. It really
Oh yeah,
was.
I remember. And this, you were probably there about maybe even before that. Before Ricky Skaggs, Flat and
Mhm.
Scruggs had Skaggs on their show when he was just tiny.
Right,
Uh,
he did, and yeah, and I did the show when I was only, I don't know, I guess 14, 15, Flat and Scruggs show,
oh yeah, yeah.
and that's a great memory, and I can't find a copy of it anywhere. I got to got
Oh,
to keep looking.
I bet you wish you did have a copy of
I
it, Billy.
do, it was, I don't know what year. I was probably, I was between 14 and 15 years old, so I don't know what year that was exactly, but it goes back a long ways. But yes, Randy did it. Randy, my best friend Randy Scruggs. He
Yeah.
did it. Ricky Skaggs did it. And I did it. It was a great thing for me, and I'll never forget it.
Oh, I bet. I mean, what great memories. And of course, I have those kind of memories too. I never will forget your dad. When they would come to Richmond, why he was the one I wanted to hang out with because he was cool as a cucumber.
Well, your dad was the same way. Let me tell you, I spent some time, and this is a great memory of mine. I spent a whole night, all into the morning, with your dad and my dad and Kenny Baker at a festival. And I can't remember what festival it was. I wish I could, but there was
Yeah,
a smoke-filled room. You could cut it with a knife,
I
and
bet.
and they sat and picked all night long, all night long. It was a great memory for me.
Oh, I'll bet. My gosh, I wouldn't you like if it had been today, somebody would have filmed it on a
Oh yeah,
telephone.
oh yeah. We
You'd
didn't
have it.
have it.
Yeah,
No.
you'd be able to document it. And of course, we didn't have that opportunity back in those days. But I remember your brother. I used to spend a lot of time with him also.
Yeah, you did.
With little Josh,
Yeah.
and had a great time with him. And then, of course, you and I were always sort of touching the boundaries of pushing the envelope a little further. I know you had quite a stretch in country music for a while.
I did, yeah.
You know,
And I wrote a
knowing where
lot,
you yeah
wrote a lot
knowing
of
where you
songs.
yeah knowing where you came from for sure, and
Yeah,
and it was just, but it's something always sort of pulls you back in with the
yeah,
acoustic.
that's
The
exactly
acoustic.
right. And that was one thing about Dad. We were talking about it. I was talking about it this morning that he allowed me to do anything I wanted to do. Him and my mom, they allowed me to do any kind of music I wanted to do, anything, and it was just always there. That to open up that opportunity for you was really, really, really special. You don't get that all the time.
No, and of course, back in the early days, before they really classified what we're doing and branded what we're really doing now,
Right,
entertainment was entertainment.
right.
I remember we would sing a George Jones song, a Jim Reeves
Hmm.
song. We would do all those old ones.
Hmm.
It made no difference. It was just
Right.
we were just doing it in an acoustic
It was just
format.
great music. That's
It,
what we
it
always
was.
like.
It
Yeah.
was for sure. And of course, I know you've seen the ups and downs of country and the ups and downs of bluegrass as they call it today.
Yeah.
And of course, we all support them because it is a unique an American music. The way
Yes.
that everybody does it today. And I mean years ago, and it started with with Bill Monroe and Flatt and Scruggs and Reno and Smiley and the Stanley Brothers. There was about and Mac Wiseman. There was about five bands that really, I think, was the launching of all that.
Right. I think you're right. Yes.
Now, what year did you say your dad went to work with Lester and Earl? In
I think it was
what year?
56, 56. And it was maybe 55, 56, somewhere in there, but I was about two, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Well, I mean, he fit them so good that I always, you just assume that he was there from the start.
yeah, yeah, exactly. That's the way I always felt. But yeah,
Oh
that's
yeah,
true. And it is like, actually, he started out, I don't know if you knew this, but he started out as their bass player, and and they would throw him in on maybe one or two songs. He played the dobro, and they and it got a huge response
right.
on their TV shows and stuff. So they started more and more the dobro, and then they realized they had something a little different, and it changed a lot of things, the
Oh
way
my
he played.
gosh. I mean, that is, it started out to be five instruments was the core of bluegrass, but
Hmm.
now it's six, and that includes the dobro.
Right,
Of
right.
course, what your dad where he took it was just incredible, and of course the younger kids have come along like Jerry Douglas and moved it to a same thing with the banjos and the
Yeah.
mandolins and the fiddles and everything like that. But
Well, there's something that's really kind of interesting when you bring up Jerry Douglas, because Jerry loved my dad just like you, and
for
we all
sure,
did. But Jerry, I produced an album on my dad back in about 1995 or 96, I think it was, and that I'd had an idea of wanting to do something for him, and it was called Josh Graves, a musical documentary. And so what I did, I went and had, I bring a bunch of those people to my office downtown on Music Row there, and have them talk about Dad, and then we'd have a segue. It would be segue into a song on the album, and of course Jerry Douglas was one of those people, and he tells a great story on there about how he met Dad like you when he was just a kid, and he handed him his guitar. Dad handed him his guitar, and he said, "Here, play this one, kid." And he said he never forgot it, and then that kind of, lifted him up. But as I was doing this, what I think you'll enjoy about this is so I also went and had to go pick up Bill Monroe. Dad and I went and picked Bill Monroe up at, I don't know if it's Mallard's, one of those little restaurants down there on Dixon Road. But we picked him up, and he was going to come and do a little talking about Dad on this record. And I was excited about it. We picked him up, and I drove. Dad sat in the back seat, and Bill sat in the front seat, and they talked all the way to the office. And I'm thinking, this is going to be great. Bill was telling some great stories, So we get in there, and I thought, this is going to be great. So sit down, and I said to Bill, I said, okay, we just turned the mic on. He said, yeah. He said, won't you ask me some questions? And I said, okay. And I'd say something like, well, how did you like this with, and he'd say, fine.
Yeah, and that's all he do.
That's right. So the whole interview was like that. I'd get one word answer. Where was all that was coming? But we got a few things out of it. But it was so much fun to have those people, him and Mac and Jerry Douglas. All three of those were on there. So, yeah, it meant a lot.
That's funny. I know exactly what you're saying, Billy. That's happened to me before. When the green light came on, sometimes nothing would happen, and you've had the dangest time before. Talk all that stuff. I've been there, done that for sure. But anyway, well, I also want to talk about this is different times for us, Billy, and I'm gonna get into the pandemic. The coronavirus, because you have just gone through, and of course, I want to let everybody know out there that Billy is a survivor of the coronavirus. Billy, and you had it. When did you have this?
Well, I actually was diagnosed with it I got it on January 15th. That's my wife's birthday.
Yeah.
And actually the whole family got it. We got it here. My wife, our 2 grandkids, my son, and I got it. But I had it for a week, and I was getting better. I thought I was getting better, but then I went off the cliff, and then they, I was reluctant. My wife was wanting to get me to the hospital, and I'd say, "Oh no, I'll be all right." And you know how you do, and I should have gone. The ambulance had to pick me up here in the worst snowstorm of the year. It was like a blizzard out, and the ambulance got stuck in the driveway. It was a terrible thing, and they get me to the hospital, and then they had to rush me to another hospital, and I was in for a good while, a couple of weeks, but during the early part of it, they had called my wife, and they told her they didn't think I'd make it through the night. She had been preparing for it, and it was devastating to us. And then, I got lots of prayers and lots of cards and wishes on Facebook and on just every way you could imagine. And I just could not believe it. And it all meant so much to me. It really did.
There is power in prayer, and thank goodness that you had a lot of people praying for you, Billy, because
I did.
This is what every 100 or so years a pandemic comes along like this.
Right.
And the bad thing with this one, you never knew how it was going to react on any individual.
No, and it has affected our business so much. I remember my dad used to say, one thing about the music business, it's always going to be there in rough times, and I understood that, but this is different. This has been a very different year.
Well, it slowed everything down. I mean, Nashville is almost, and still is today, is almost on pause, because everything works around the entertainment industry here in Nashville so much. Your bus companies, your record companies, publishing companies, your booking agents, everything. It's all goes together. The 4 quarters make the dollar, and for here in Nashville, of course, you're in Omaha, Nebraska right now, but here in Nashville, it has just been devastating. Lower Broad, I've got so many friends down there that just says, "Oh my gosh, it's been one of the worst times." But what's so wonderful, it's an upper respiratory virus, and of course, we're thrilled to death that you've come back and your voice is still with us, and I bet you are too.
Oh, I am. I didn't think it. I didn't think it would. It was really, really very close, and just coming back because I've been. It's a slow process because your strength, first of all, to gain your strength back. I lost a lot of weight, gain your strength
Yeah.
out. About to get it all back, but it's like nothing else. We were planning this song that we're going to play today. We were working on this before I got sick, and then I hadn't gotten my part yet, and there we go. But Hugh Moore had said, "We'll just wait for you. We'll wait for you." So
Sure.
it was one of the first things I was trying to do as soon as I got as well as I could, and we got it
Sure.
done. So it's the first thing I did, and so now I'm just slowly trying to come back.
Oh, well, congratulations. I think you're completely back myself. It's a wonderful performance. And we've got to throw a shout out to Brother Hugh Moore. He is a great supporter of all of our music on OMS Records. And this is we had debuted a video CD by Bobby Osborne of On I Can't Stop Loving You. And this is our second one with you. And we appreciate you being involved and being a part of a premiere for Bluegrass Music TV. And so anyway, the song is great. It's an old Don Gibson song.
That's right.
And
I love Don Gibson too. I'm sure you did.
Oh my.
What a singer he was. But this was my favorite song. He wrote so many great songs, but it's my favorite song that he didn't write. He didn't write this one. And Paul Hampton, and Hal David, and they wrote all these pop songs back in the 60s.
Sure.
But he took that song and made it Don Gibson, and that's why I've always loved it. And Hugh Moore and I were talking and thought this would be a great bluegrass song.
Oh yeah, definitely so. Well, it was, and it is. It came out great with you and your performance, and of course the new video, which we've premiered, I think today, if I'm not mistaken, earlier. Well, maybe yesterday. We snuck it in. It's hard to sneak anything in on the internet, but I think we got it going for sure.
Yeah, I think so.
And so we're just thrilled to death to have you with us today. One more before we leave. There is a GoFundMe page, and we'll have Sammy bring up the link and everything over this devastation that has happened to you with the coronavirus and everything. And we really appreciate all the help that anybody can throw your way, Billy, and I know you do too.
Well, thank you so much, Ronnie. It's just a pleasure to see you, because every time I see you, it's just like old times, like we hadn't seen each other forever, but there we go again,
Oh, definitely so. And of course, we hopefully we'll get back to where we can travel. I retired from the road at the end of 2019, and I ain't been able to go anywhere.
You're staying home. That's good.
Yeah, I might as well have retired, but because I couldn't go anywhere. But maybe when we get out or something, if we come up to Nebraska, then I'll holler at you, or vice versa. If you come,
I'm coming down there. I'll see you.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Well, I don't win yet, but I'm coming. I'm coming down to do into Nashville at some point this year, and I'm going over to there's a bluegrass festival in Tellico Plains where my dad was born, where they're honoring him, and I'm bringing a bust of him so that they can put it in the display. So sometime in the fall, so at least maybe I'll see you on the way.
Oh, please do call me, and I'll meet you anywhere, and we'll break some bread together and still talk about some good old times. And for everybody out there today that's watching Ronnie Reno live, why, check out Billy Troy and the Sea of Heartbreak. And Billy, thank you so much for being with us today, brother.
Thank you, Ronnie. It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Well, same here, and we'll talk soon for sure. All right, we're gonna sign off right now, and thanks for tuning in and watching Ronnie Reno Live here on Bluegrass Music TV.